With regard to the key elements of the business model, what should CloudFlare keep/start doing with respect to CVP, GTM, TOM, and CFF? Create a table as a group that looks like this. And can you guys see it? Ta-da!
Yep.
Okay. So CVP is a customer value proposition. Why would a customer buy a product or use a service? That's basically the value proposition. So describe some of the key elements of the value of their product. What makes it unique? What makes it want to be purchased by a customer? Joel.
It works.
It works.
Now I put routes all online traffic to a website through their servers, providing speed efficiencies and security protection.
I like that it shoots for focused on small to medium sized businesses. Oh gosh, business.
And with that, it's cheap, so it attracts them as well.
Right. What was that thing that's someone's paying it like $2 million for a service, and then they come up and say, "Oh, we'll give it to you for $40,000." They're like, "Did you leave off a zero? Really?"
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. It does work. It offers a service that a business just simply wouldn't be able to afford. You know, something from Barracuda or the other two that I can't remember, Oracle, which are targeted for larger businesses. What part of it should they keep doing or start doing? Something that's missing or something that you guys, well, we've kind of listened to the key elements and things that we've liked. What's maybe something they should start doing? This one kind of stumped me too. I don't think the product is dynamite.
I don't know. It's hard to say what they should start doing because not, I guess, in their shoes to really understand the full potential or idea of their product. Like, I get the base of it, what we got from the study, but
right.
I think their product is even based off of like constantly like learning itself. Like the program itself is constantly learning. So because it's doing that, just keep doing that, I guess.
Yeah, I can go with that. Constant improvement.
I just simply said keep.
Yeah, I'm totally with Alex on the fact that it's like, because I've never used it before, it's tough to say this is where it needs to improve or this is where it's going good. It's in a constant state of improvement, and the product seems to do really, really well, so I can't think of anything else. So, but based on that constant improvement, and because it's so great and it's rapidly growing, what are some organizational implications of it? Like something that I thought of, and it seems obvious to the organization, they need to grow the workforce at pace
properly.
Pace with the product.
Yeah.
Anything else organizationally that maybe needs to happen?
Organizationally, they seem to be kind of all over the place.
Yeah, that's what happens when it's loose. When there's no manager. Sure, they have like a meeting where they set up goals and stuff, but it's too... Nobody has responsibility over anything, it seems like. Feel free to explore your horizons. But, you know, it's vague. So more management. Oh, gosh. Management. Okay. Cool. We'll go with that. GT or go-to-market plan. What is the plan of action that specifies how a company will reach customers and achieve competitive advantage? So one thing they have current technology. So in comparison to their competitors, they have CDs or typical hard drives, while this company has solid state drives. They have up-to-date servers that are the most current of the technology generation. So they have the best technology that can be bought for what they're doing in comparison to the competition. The competition would have to do a huge overhaul of everything to be able to get on par with the speed that CloudFlare is offering. And because of that, they can cut costs and be really, really cheap and use a freemium-based revenue model compared to the competition. What other key elements of their plan to acquire more customers and keep their competitive advantage are involved in the go-to-market plan?
It said somewhere that they haven't really focused very much on marketing. It was somewhere near the beginning. I can't find exactly where it was. But they haven't done a lot specifically for marketing. They've just had, because their product is so good, it just has boomed.
Yeah, I wrote they virtually have no business development focus at all.
Is that a good thing?
Well, it's part of their.
Seems
I
we're doing
think
well.
if we go down, we'll answer that, but it's.
Yeah, it said they rolled out for free, and then they had a bigger version of the product that companies or businesses could buy. And generally, people within the company would recommend it to their higher ups, and it would be incorporated by the business because they thought it worked so well. It was a free program they were using.
Right. So for the small fry, it's free. Someone has a single website doing, like maybe Etsy or something like that, where they're not at risk. It could be free, but for somebody bigger or small to medium-sized business, this is an excellent option. When basically there was no options before.
Mm-hmm.
Based on this go-to-market plan, what should they keep or start doing?
They definitely need to start doing something because their growth is based off of how many people they can reach because their program is constantly learning. And so, the more people they can attract, the better it will help their program.
So what should change, do you think? What should they start? Have actual marketing?
Yeah.
Not just word of mouth.
Specific.
Yeah. I don't think massive marketing is really necessary yet, but I do think, starting to work and develop some idea on marketing or small marketing strategies would be good.
Yeah, I'm with you on a mass marketing thing. They don't want to reach the entire population. They're not Coke. They're trying to target a very small, niche segment in the market. They're looking for webmasters. So doing a massive ad campaign where it's on during the Super Bowl doesn't do anything. 90% of the people who are going to watch it would be confused. So at least a little bit more in marketing that somehow targets those individuals. I think that would be a great idea. Something to start with. Joel?
I put that they should keep their subscription model, maybe look at how that's priced a little bit more, and then seek to monetize other data gathering opportunities that they have, but in a general way, not specific to individual websites or using websites, but just in general categories, I guess. And I think they could sell that data.
Absolutely. That is a great idea. And I definitely think that that plan would keep their competitive advantage and reach definitely more clients. Doing some marketing, keeping the freemium base, which seems to do really well, and finding more ways to monetize. With those changes, what organizational implications would happen?
Maybe a small marketing team. They don't have anyone, so they would need to probably hire someone. I guess I don't know whether they'd want to do it internally or hire out to a marketing company, but
so
they'd have to hire someone.
Yeah, they would definitely maybe do an outside firm or keep somebody in house. Oh, what would you do to monetize, Joel? What's something that you would do within the organization to be able to monetize?
Well, they mentioned that they collect all this type of data of like where traffic is going, what's really popular at the moment, all that kind of stuff. I'm assuming. So marketers, I think, would be interested, even if you put it in a general format of what's trending right now, what are that people are going to look at, if it's and then try to ride those waves. You may want to go market on websites where there's activity going on, in that general area. For instance, if people that are really concerned about food storage, and all of a sudden there's this high rise of traffic on food storage, know about it if you were a company that did food storage, and you could go and market on popular websites that are, or Google, you could start an ad campaign on Facebook or Google, based on the results of what's happening, where's all this traffic coming from, that kind of thing.
Awesome. Okay. Next one is technology and operations management. I'm a little fuzzy on this one. Describe the key elements of the technology and operations management. Can you say mismanagement? I don't know. From the handful of people who quit, they got burned out. So
in this first row, it says describe key elements. He just kind of described what they have right now and what they're doing. And then in the next section, should they continue to do that or do something different? And maybe all I reported in this section was by design, there's virtually none of this.
Yeah, there's no hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
I'd sure like to hire people, though, that could be management, but that didn't use them.
They've just got, however many people, like 35 individuals, rather than like management or any type of, I guess, hierarchy in employment.
They're like letting their employees govern themselves without letting them know what to govern.
Or when they offer advice or seek to change the system, they get stopped down because they want them to be free, and the employees actually want structure. Okay, so what should they start doing then?
What was that?
What should they start doing in the technology and operations management category?
I think
somebody's got a lot of background noise going on. So.
I think as they continue to grow, they should really focus on getting some managerial positions set in place. They talked about not having anyone for the engineering team to go to bat for them and some other things like that, because they were all just the same level. They didn't have the higher up guy or the go-to guy to be like, oh, go talk about this for us. Like, I don't know. And
yeah, it's true. They didn't like to call anyone boss, which was confusing.
I felt like to have a boss is part of being in a job. Unless you're the CEO, I mean, unless you're the like owner, I feel like it's important to have different levels. It helps people to, I don't know, in the range of what they should do or be working on. And I know they did talk about how, you can tell someone, oh, maybe you shouldn't be doing that. You can do this and tighten up your focus. But because no one ever had a job description, it wasn't like a demotion. It's just sort of rewriting of what they should be doing. And so they talked about how that kept people like, I don't know.
People just
They also need,
oh, sorry.
just with the structure, they also need to have like more organized meetings that are a lot more constant. And I think as they're having meetings as teams and then as like the whole office, that it will help like the hierarchy. Like, oh, this person is running this team and running this meeting, and it just will help everything flow. So that's something they could actually do to help.
To me, there's no vision that's been set forth of like what we want to accomplish this year. What's our next milestone? Howard.
Yeah. You're cutting out.
Mute your mic.
Oh, is it Bonnie? Alright, time to go. Go find
She's
mine.
so cute. She's distracting.
Go find mine. Okay.
Yeah. Every noise she was making was keying your mic, and so it was hard for me to hear.
I thought she was quiet, but I guess I'm wearing headphones. So.
Yeah, there was just no. There's no vision. There's nothing that everybody's working towards. Everybody's kind of going towards whatever they feel like doing, and I'm sure there's some milestones that they're trying to achieve, but
Sure, they had the Post-it note system. Wasn't that perfect? A bunch of tiny little ideas that everyone had to do with no clear overarching theme. Just like, do this, do that. It'll be great. That terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure in pieces that was a really good idea if they had an umbrella goal. By doing this Post-it note, we will get one step closer to something, whatever it was. But there was no something. Huh, good point. So with all of those problems, what needs to happen in the organization?
We need to hire someone who knows how to run an organization.
HR maybe? I don't know. In operations?
Kind of surprised that their board, and we didn't really get to see how that was structured or how much equity, who has what, and that kind of thing. But to me, I would think the board would be help coach and mentor and structure the company in such a way that it was positioned for growth, desire to go public.
Yeah, they seem to be sitting on the same model that they had as a startup, where sky was the limit. You're an expert in some field, and so do whatever you think would be best for the company. But now they have 35 people, and that's no way to run a business that's growing, that has a definite product. So they need someone to create boundaries for the employees so they know what they're doing. And so they have structure and to fire waste, because flipping Prince like to hire anybody. You have lots of potential. Would you like a job doing nothing for a year? I don't. Stupid.
There was I don't know if everybody had a chance to read through all of the people that left the company, but one person that was hired to monetize, look for monetizing opportunities, shot down on anything that he developed, but and that was the reason for wanting to quit. But one of the reasons for shooting him down was they didn't want to upset some of the bigger companies. It sounded like to me they were still just trying to slip the radar for a while and not draw a lot of attention to themselves because maybe of a fear of the bigger companies to do what they were doing, I guess.
Agreed. So finally we got CFF, which is cash flow formula or cash flow forecast, something like that. I think we should just go to what I did for the cash flow formula. So this is information that I pulled out of the case, and you guys feel free to tell me what needs to be changed if it does. They claimed that they had about 500,000 subscribers, and the conversion rate, I don't think they said conversion rate, but they said if at 4% of those people actually paid the $20 subscription fee per month, then of all of the 4% of the 500,000, they're looking at $240 of those individuals for a grand total revenue of $4.8 million. They have 35 employees. Each costs about $150,000 each. You know, and I think wrapped into this number is like rent on the building, equipment, computers, things like that, and some other fixed costs. I'm assuming that's like servers and things like that, and some variable costs like bandwidth. Calculated from the initial information, that cost of goods sold is about 54% of revenue. So this was on the video that he gave out, and so I just tried to model that as much as I could. But I ended up getting the same number that the case got. So I guess the next question, where are you? Working as a group, take a closer look at the CloudFlare's cash flow formula. Suppose we have to hire more engineers in direct proportion to how we scale. How long will it take to become profitable? Use an actual spreadsheet and turn it in after the discussion. Hey, I have one. Yay. So we could just simply do goal seek. Set cell to 0 to break even by changing, what is it, the number of subscribers? Is that what the question asked? Okay. So they need 1.2 million subscribers to be able to break even. So they're about halfway there. I don't know what the growth rate of their subscriber listing is, or if the conversion rate is changing, but I think that's attainable. And that's just to break even. If we want to set in a specific goal to, $1 million in profit, then that number needs to go up.
And I feel like currently, if their subscriber base were at 1.2 million, they'd be even, further behind with their number of employees at 35.
That's very true. That is definitely something we need to take into consideration. So if they're barely scraping by with 35 individuals who are getting burned out at 500,000 subscribers, how many employees will they need at 1.2? 70? 100?
I'd say 70.
Can you click in your total annual revenue cell? Okay.
Let's say, did you say 80, Alex?
I was thinking at least double. So I was thinking 70 at least.
Oh gosh. 70. So, oh no, we've done it again. All right, what if analysis, goal seek, set that cell to 0 by changing number of subscribers. Oh my goodness. So now we're looking at almost 2.5 million. That's quite a bit, 2.4.
I think they need to change their fee personally. I think they need to up their fee a little bit, or they need to be pulling in revenue from their data collection. I don't think they'll be able to just up subscribers and their number of employees with everything else staying the same and hit even or hit a point where they can handle it, because I don't know. At 35 employees, they were only doing about half the number of subscribers they needed to break even. And to just double that number on the same amount of employees would be ridiculous to expect them to be able to handle the workload coming in. Unless they were able to automate a lot of it, which they talked about getting some automated systems up and running, but they hadn't before that one guy quit just because.
That's true.
So much.
That's very true. Maybe something else they could focus on would be conversion rates. If they simply got it up to 6%, that's $5 million at that rate. By upping the conversion rate by 2%.
Yep.
So if we have 100 customers and we sign up 2 more than normal, oh my gosh. How awesome is that? So you're definitely right. Either we can try to figure out how to cut costs through automation, so we can cut the number of employees, and that would be helpful. We could raise the fee, and that would get us some money. Oh, that's weird how that worked out, making it cost $30. Just like that. Anyway, there's definitely different routes that we can do to make this business a little bit more profitable. But they really, I don't know, do they have to grow really fast? I think the next question is, do they need to slow down? Let's see. Oh, here's the next question. Why does CloudFlare management want to get big? Oh, sorry. Why do they want to get big fast? What benefits does CloudFlare receive from scale?
The bigger they get, the more revenue they have to work with.
But the more they get, the more employees they got to hire, which means more fixed costs.
Yep. I don't know. Maybe they'd be able to hire some cheaper employees.
Outsource some of the work to India?
Yeah. They talked about getting I don't know. Someone said, I don't know if it was someone who quit or they were talking about it in the study. I can't remember, but I remember them saying outsourcing like some calls to Asia or something for like 24-hour coverage for a service.
Probably would have been cheaper than paying those 2 American engineers.
In the case study, it specifically says on page 3 in the last paragraph that as their traffic expands, we see more patterns, so the system actually learns and gets better. That's one reason why getting big fast matters. And so a lot of it, I think, just has to do because it's a really smart program. It's learning and it can grow, which pleases people.
But could they keep costs low enough to meet, I think, the next point that they wanted to point out was economies of scale. That's the next point. Marginal costs decrease with the increase of a customer. So it costs, let's say, $5 to get a customer, our first customer, and then it costs $4 to get the next customer. I tried to figure out how to calculate that, and I really struggled to figure it out. So I'm not sure if they have economies of scale, but I don't know. The next one is, does CloudFlare have network effect? The value of the service increases for each customer when there are more customers using it. That's true. Jeannie just pointed that out.
Yeah.
Does CloudFlare have high switching costs? That means if someone signs up for the subscription, but then they say, I don't like this, I want to switch to a different competitor, is it costly to do so? I don't think it's very costly because you don't have to buy any equipment. There's no code that needs to be implemented. You can set up your account in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So if you don't like it, you could drop it almost immediately and switch to something else.
I would think, and the worst you could lose is $20. Just
Right,
one
big
month, you
deal.
don't like it, quit. And that's if you had the higher up version, like business or platinum version, whatever they called it.
Right. Pro, I think.
Yeah. But it makes me wonder if the system gets smarter as it grows, if that means an employee would be able to technically handle a higher number of subscribers per employee as it got bigger.
Sure, more automation. There's a learning curve.
Economy of scale, like, you know, maybe as the program was small and they only had 100,000 subscribers, they might need 10 employees. But as they reached 300,000 subscribers, they only need 20 employees.
Right, you know, it tripled, but they only had to double their workforce.
Employees only had to double because their program was smarter or something along those lines. I don't know.
Yeah, that's economies of scale right there. That's the goal. I'm struggling to calculate it and see if that's actually happening. Because the next question is, can you think of any reason for them to grow slow? I don't know.
I feel like slow growth is easier to keep track of, probably less stressful.
That's
when
true.
Everything's a whirlwind around you versus when
just like you said, with slow growth, it means engineers can really make that system really, really smart, which means that they probably won't have to hire so many people down the road. I don't know. Okay, let's get to the good stuff, because that's all fun and dandy, but discuss each of the recent resignations. For each one, list the reasons why they left. Then ask what would have to change for that person to have stayed. So how did that go? First guy quit because, come on.
He was like,
Dale. Oh, he was working 24/7.
Yeah.
He was on call 24/7.
Pager was going off every 8 minutes, 24 hours straight.
I read that and I wondered, when did this case come out? And it said it came out in 2012. Using a pager? Whatever. I guess doctors still use pagers. But it was just him and some other guy for 24 hours. It switches. That's that'll burn you out.
That's miserable.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know. They talked about how they were trying to they're automating on time or up to date or whatever. Or maybe was that for the next guy?
No, you're right. So they were trying to get some automation in so to relieve the stress, but then he quit before it was able to be implemented. That's what Price claims, but Price doesn't sound like he knows what he's doing. He had a good idea, but he seems a little out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says Dale resigned before we got the automation done. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't get it done for the next couple of years. So the employees could be free and do whatever they wanted. Blah, blah, blah.
And make Office video remakes.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch that?
Oh, it's so awkward.
It's terrible.
I guess The Office was awkward, so if they were trying to do that, they did a really good job. Unicorns and rainbows and
that was just weird.
That was bizarre. Did not understand that. What's the next person?
David Conrad.
Yeah, it was Dale, David, and then the other two. That's not confusing. Okay, he's the guy who was sitting around doing nothing because he was trying to, like Joe pointed out, he was trying to set up monetizing plans, and they kept getting shot down.
Yeah.
Because money bad.
You got one guy leaving because he feels like he's being overworked, and another guy leaving because he feels like he's not being utilized.
Yeah, there's something bad going on. People people with nothing to do, people lazy, not being fulfilled, and other people working so hard that they can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Some misused resources. And then David was really, really far away from his family. It was really fast paced. Oh, shoot. I forgot about Zakur. Yeah, I don't know. Why did he leave? His family lived on the East Coast.
Yeah, he was the monetizing guy.
Oh, he was a monetizing. What was the middle guy? What was Conrad?
He was a guy, I think, that used to work somewhere else.
Yeah,
So
he was like a co-founder, and
What?
from what I could read right here, it says I could have helped with certain issues, but the co-founders weren't ready to address them,
Oh,
and it just kind of he felt like he wasn't contributing, and
yeah, like his issue was that there was no organization, and he came from being
Yeah.
a co-founder, and then there's no middlemen, and it just was a mess.
I see.
I know
The
what
next
he was-
guy was some jack of all trades engineer who just wasn't passionate about what he was doing. He was working really hard and just didn't. A massively scalable data infrastructure. This is no, that's what Price said. Price. Shoot. Oh, they sent him on a 2-month sabbatical to think about it. So he hasn't technically resigned, but they assume he's going to come back. But he was working really, 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 really hard. And then the last guy disagreed about some strategy and staffing plans, so he left. So if anything, all of the problems seem to be tied to one thing. They seem organizationally based. But there's problems with being overworked, not enough people working, or nothing to do. Or, where their efforts aren't valued. What do you guys think?
Agree.
no, I
All of
definitely
it.
see that as the tie.
Oh, we're supposed to ask what would have changed for them to stay.
Organization.
Or
Opposite of everything you just said.
like Dale, for example, maybe if he only worked 8 hours, maybe if they hired 3 people, and they worked it in 8-hour shifts or something. So he wasn't worked to death. If they just hired another person to work in the right department compared to hiring a person to work in the wrong department, like David Conrad or the Davids in general. What do you guys think about how could they have kept Conrad on board?
Well, one thing is just helping him, like making sure that he's contributing. 'Cause that's what he felt. He felt like he wasn't contributing at all, and so he definitely really needed. In order for him to stay, I feel like he really, they really would have needed to help him feel utilized and like worth something at the company.
His job did seem a little monotonous. It's really discouraging when you work super, super, super hard and it's like, there's too much on my plate. Can we hire somebody else, or can we structure this in a different way? And they're just, nope. Makes you quit. Makes you feel undervalued. Totally agree. What about the guy who couldn't get anything monetized because they kept shooting him down? What's something they could have done to keep him on board?
Listen to him.
Stop shooting him
Listen
down.
to him. Not shoot him down. Hire him and accept his job work that you've hired him for. If you're going to hire someone to monetize, then you better let him monetize. If not, then don't hire him.
It's pointless to hire someone if you're not going to listen. I don't know.
Yeah, totally right.
If they weren't
Wasted
listening
money.
to him, then his job was pointless anyways.
Like, I kind of understood, like, hiring people to be on the ground floor in the case of innovation, in preparation for the future, but that's still pretty weak. Why would you want to throw away $150,000 for no work?
I don't know, but if you know anyone hiring for that, let me know.
I'd like to do that.
Can I stand in line? Yeah. I mean, if I was an angel investor or in a venture capitalist firm and I saw that going on, I would be furious. Why is that guy here? What is he doing? Oh, he's here just in case something happens. Why? You know, like that's stupid. Fire him. Get him out of here. I don't care if he's super qualified.
I feel like it's kind of interesting. Did you watch that little 1.5 minute video about like their them and their company? They seemed like
the weird
that
office
weird office kind of thing.
Was
I
that
feel like how they acted was kind of how the company was being run, is just kind of bleh, just kind of everywhere.
Yeah, it seemed like almost a parody, like a joke on their company.
Yeah.
Like I'm in charge of making the group cheer. Really? That's your whole job? Like, what do you do actually?
$150,000 for that.
Yeah. Yay! And you saw the CEO jumping up in the air in the back. Oh, that was weird.
Was that actually
so bizarre?
Yeah.
Say it again.
It was?
Pretty sure it was the actual people.
Video. If it was actually them, I'd be like weird.
No, it definitely was them.
Yeah, the CEO appeared in that other video when he was talking on some TV show or something like that. That was him. And all of his weirdness.
That was them.
That was him.
All the weirdness.
Yeah. All of his weirdness.
Well, at least they're having fun at their office.
They're just young millennials, you know.
That's true.
Hey,
bunch of weirdos.
We're all
a lot of them.
My generation.
Yeah, we're all weird. All right.
You know, and
what? Last question. Should CloudFlare implement more process and structure, hire a VP of HR, and start using titles? Yes or no?
Yes.
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 Absolutely. Definitely.
Mega. Yes.
Should I go on?
What about you, Joel? Do you think that more structure would be good for them?
No, that ruined the party atmosphere. I don't.
Look, guys, I made this unicorn. This is so great.
Yeah, what the unicorn thing? Gosh.
Here, let me take you to dinner and offer you a raise. Oh, God.
In the environment right now, there is no right, there is no wrong, unless he decides there is. But if it's if something is structured, that changes.
There's definitely a balance. They're in a startup. Innovation is super important, but at the same time, without structure, it's I'm sitting at my desk imagining I'm a bird for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit. You know,
I agree with everybody.
It just feels like they're all still in college in their little frats, and this is like a class project, you know, like where they just get to like make something and turn it in, and oh, it's cool, but then you go home and do your thing, and it just is. Ugh.
And at the same time, it sounds like that's the case for some people, and on the other hand, there's people who are working so hard all the time, and they can't. There's no progression. It's just. We need this to be automated. We need more staff to work in this department. Because, sorry, like we need structure. We need a boss to tell us what we actually need to do. It's like we really want you to do whatever you want.
We need more unicorns.
I'm dying. You know, hire someone. You know, do something to help me. But that just didn't work out.
There was a line in there that I thought was interesting that just said that he didn't have a life. He didn't have any loved ones, and so you know.
He didn't need vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Slow down growth, yes or no? See, I don't feel like I can answer this because I don't know if they're actually having economies of scale, if their costs are actually going down by the addition of each individual customer. So what would slowing down do?
Make them slower.
Yeah, the software
would allow them to put the infrastructure in place to handle the growth going forward. Right now, for them to grow fast right now, it would kill them, and it is
I see
killing.
What you mean? Oh.
So what they need to do is not worry about growth for the moment, but structure within the organization, and then flip the switch, and then you're ready to go. You know,
I see.
so.
I totally agree now. I think slowing down growth is a great idea.
Yep.
Because yeah, you're totally right. All that would happen is if they did a rapid expansion, they would have 20 hires resigning in a 3-month period compared to 5. Just the work would be too much for the people who are already overworked, and the people who aren't doing anything will still have nothing to do.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I think they have to ramp up their infrastructure and structure it and organize it and plan it for some growth, and so that once it starts coming in, it effectively runs through the organization, and people know what they're doing and how they should react and manage the workflow. So.
I think by doing that as well, it'll cut employee costs, because it seems like everyone that they hire is some like middle management, super educated, lots of experience type individual, compared to interns doing coding, compared to outsourcing some of the stuff that they don't need to do in house. Having an HR department or an operations VP focused on needs and the requirements for those needs, they just hire really overqualified individuals compared to cutting the costs. So I think by doing that, they'll cut costs and it'll be easier to make money.
I think it's very telling about this particular ownership group, because managing people is hard. It's difficult. It can be it can suck the life out of you. I've done it for years. So if I think in just going out and hiring some people that were supposedly capable and be willing to pay them, they're willing to throw money at these guys, but they just don't want to deal with having to manage them. Able to escape that at this point. They're going to have to. What they need to do is hire people that are good at managing people, and then that way they can live their little world and move forward in an effective way.
A middleman.
Yeah.
Someone who's willing to maybe yell and scream, resolve disputes, hire.
I mean, you saw the video. Maybe some of you did, but that's not their strength. You can tell right there that managing people is probably not their strength.
Yeah, saying no. It makes me think that the management team is kind of immature. So
yeah.
Did you see the unicorn video?
Just like Jeannie pointed out, it's like a frat. They just kind of do whatever they want. Anyway, that's kind of the end.
Hey, Jeannie in there running the show, man.
Lay the hammer down.
I was like waiting for in the middle of the video someone to come out and be like, "What are you guys doing? Like get back to work or something." But that never happened. It's just ooh. Questions. So I need to turn in the spreadsheet, and there was no question we're supposed to vote on, other than they definitely need structure within their personnel, their workforce. We all can agree on that. But they need someone in HR. They need a middleman so they can help the management team be mature. I don't know.
I think there were 2 things, wasn't there?
Well, it was just the last question, I believe.
Discuss what will happen to the company under your recommendations. We went over that. What will happen to the culture and motivation of the current employees? They'll know what their boundaries are. They know what their goals are in their work, so people won't be overworked.
There might be a few guys who don't like it, but I think the majority of the team will enjoy it, especially when results start coming in a bit more.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being a hotshot VP who started your own company, and then you spend a year sitting around at some other company doing nothing when you could have been making a lot of money doing something else, starting your own business? I mean, I'd be furious. You've wasted my life. I'm never going to get that year back. Are you kidding?
I want to be the guy that goes on the 2-month sabbatical, paid by the company.
Europe. Ooh,
backpacking through Europe.
Fancy.
Find me that gig.
Yeah, well, because they hired people, like their employees were hired by like references. Like, so if you're an employee, your friend got hired. So Joel, when you get there, give us a ring and we'll show up and do nothing with you.
Yeah. Kumbaya. That's what I'm saying.
Kumbaya. Talk about our feelings and our favorite unicorns, and great. Okay, so
We good?
yeah, that's it. So I'll post this somehow. I don't remember. We'll figure it out, and then I'll send the link out.
Can you also
Awesome.
share your spreadsheet so we can look at your table?
Yeah, that would be great.
Sure. No worries. Let's say that and send it out.
Thanks.
All right.
Okay,
Talk to you guys later. Oh wait,
Thanks.
so there's
Yep.
there on Tuesday. There's no group. It's just like a paper I think we have to write.
Okay.
So, and well, it's due on Wednesday, but Tuesday's the 4th, so we're not meeting.
Is it one of the ones where it's like a case study where we're supposed to write extra or something?
All I saw is it's 2 tabs or 2 things compared to like 7 that we normally get. So there's no case that we're going to meet. So we're definitely will meet on Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
When would be good for you guys?
All right. We'll stay in touch by email.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All
Everybody.
right. See ya.
See you guys. Yeah.
Happy 4th.
you too.